Having initially produced a model of the Titanic's aft ground staircase in a previous video, I thought I would expand it down as far as the engine room and as far forward as the third funnel, an area slightly aft of amidships. So here it is, and we shall explore it. I have created a rudimentary model, so expect a degree of simplification. I am constrained by limits on my time, on processing power, and on skills. But hopefully there is enough to illustrate our little tour. In this video we shall look at the decks, and then those features of interest. Watch out for a few cycles cam images. And if you like this video, then please press the like button, share the video on social media, and have a look at my other videos, and perhaps even subscribe. If you don't like this video, then press the dislike button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel anyway. The breakup occurred in this part of the ship, and much of what we see here lies scattered about the seafloor, so in that sense, this is the lost part of the Titanic. The forward tower wreckage, the aft tower wreckage, the galley, and two almost equally sized portions of the keel constitute the largest sections of wreckage from this area. The principal features of this section are the reciprocating engine room, the aft ground staircase, the third funnel, the first class lounge and the first class dining saloon, the third class dining saloon, and number 2 boiler room. Here we can best see the individual decks, rather as if we have taken a meat cleaver to the ship. We begin with the boat deck, and here we have the raised roof over the first class lounge. Below the boat deck, the decks were lettered, but they also had names of their own, a legacy of centuries of nautical adventuring. A. The promenade deck. B. Bridge deck. C. Shelter deck. D. The saloon deck. E. The upper deck. F. The middle deck. G. The lower deck. And then the orlop, and then the tank top. Incidentally, the big piece came from about here on the starboard side, whilst close by was C-77, the stateroom of the Countess of Rothes, arguably the highest ranking member of the British and European aristocracy aboard. We are now facing aft towards the front end of our lateral section. Here is the first class lounge with decor inspired by the Palace of Versailles. That door at the back led into a passage leading to the aft grand staircase. The next two decks were first class staterooms, whilst in the centre of both decks were the gentlemen's toilets where they could punish the porcelain. The first class dining saloon was on D deck, and it was the longest room aboard at 114 feet in length, capable of seating over 500 people at a time. Each window was lit by a pair of portholes, one above the other. These ran from the reception room aft to the galley. In the same area of the ship, but on F deck, was the third class dining saloon, which was divided by a watertight bulkhead. As this was forward of our imaginary cut, it is not shown here. Instead, the boiler casing for the third funnel creates the illusion of dividing the dining saloon longitudinally. Further down, we have number 2 boiler room. This was, and is, home to 5 double-ended boilers, which remain in the bow section of the wreck, their faces pressed inward by the water pressure. Aft was number 1 boiler room, which contained 5 single-ended boilers. These fell out near the surface when the Titanic broke in two. Note this wide passage here on E deck. This was Scotland Road, which connected third-class men forward to their dining saloon, and the third-class women and families aft, as well as accessing the quarters of stewards and waiters. Here we find the aft grand staircase, but as we have already looked at this first class feature in a previous video, we won't spend much time here. Down on B deck was the reception room for the ship's restaurant. On D deck beneath the staircase, we find the first and second class galley, itself aft of the pantry and the dining saloon. Under its floor was the cavernous reciprocating engine room with its twin engines. On E deck to starboard were the lowest of the first class cabins, whilst on the port side was the engineer's mess. So there we have it, the lost portion of the Titanic through which the break occurred. Concerning the engines, the two low-pressure cylinders were the foremost pair on these engines. They joined the boilers of number 1 boiler room in their independent plunge to the sea floor. The other cylinders remain in the stern section of the wreck. The support columns of the low-pressure cylinders are presumably in the debris field, although I do not know if they have been photographed. They should be recognizable, unless the stern section fell on top of them.